Good morning. It's a beautiful morning out here, so I decided let me go out for a walk. It's not windy, so my audio should come through pretty good. So I want to make this another video. The other day I did a video on retirement, and I mostly focused on like getting yourself in a position financially, and I'm not a financial advisor or financial planner, so don't look to me. But about getting yourself in a position where you can retire, as early as you can. And, some of you have commented on it, which, I'm grateful for it. And, but now what I want to talk about is like, some people ask like, what next? What am I going to do when I retire? And yes, many of us have plans. We want to travel, we want to do things, but those things cost money. And unless you have a lot of money put away, we got to be realistic, and most of us don't. So like, what next? What do you do next? And I found myself the first couple of months after I had lost my job back in April, I was loving it. It was beautiful. I mean, I was just, but I still was getting up at the same time that I was getting up going to work, and which is important, and I'll touch on that. But I was loving it. Especially it was springtime, so I was just starting to plant my garden out in my yard, doing yard work, and going running in the park, and going to the gym, and doing all the things that I couldn't do as much because I was working. Or I did do it, but I was stressing myself a lot, because between going to work, between going to the gym, between spending my weekends doing nothing but working in the yard, working in the house, so I was always on the go, nonstop. But now I have the luxury of taking my time. And I had mentioned this in the video where I was watching this other guy who retired, and he said that he was talking about like the beauty about being retired is that you can do anything whenever you want. You don't have to do it at the same time that everybody else does, because you have, almost all day. But we need to be careful that we don't start getting into the practice of procrastinating or doing nothing, being lazy. That's not good. We need to stay away from that. That's why I make sure that, and I'm starting to slip a little bit, but I was making sure that I was getting up on time, getting early. I would, if my wife went to work, I would just make the bed, make breakfast, go to the gym, do everything early. But I'm slacking a little bit now. So, especially now with the winter months coming up, I got to be careful more that I don't get into that rut. And, I posted a video a couple of months ago about losing your job. And one of the things that I had mentioned in that video was that the worst thing that you can do when you lose your job is to sit at home and stay in bed and mope and feel sorry for yourself and not do anything. That's the worst thing, because that's only gonna, depression is gonna set in, and it's just gonna be like snowball, and it's gonna get worse and worse. It'll only get worse. So it's important to maintain routine. If you lose your job, you still get up early and still do things. Make breakfast, clean the house, go out. Especially the weather's nice, and that's why I'm taking advantage now before the winter comes in. Go out as much as I can. Another thing that I've done is I don't watch a lot of TV. I stay away from TV. I mean, unless it's sports, I usually don't watch too much TV. But one thing that I do is like, there's a series that I like, and it started back up in October, and it's on Sunday nights. So I said, instead of watching it, I'm gonna leave it, and then what I'll do is later on in the winter months, when I can't get outside as much, when I don't have as much to do around the house in regards to like projects that I do, I could just veg out and watch maybe 2 or 3 episodes a day. And so that's what I'm doing. The other day I was going to watch it, but I'm like, no, I'm going to wait. The season's not over yet, so I'll wait, and then I'll stream it. So, you can find things to do. I see people, when I go to the park and running, I see older people, sitting there on the bench, talking, feeding the birds. Do I want to do that? No, I don't want to do that. But that's what they like to do. And it's okay to do things that are just, things that you don't really have to think. You could just sit and enjoy nature and, just look at the splendor of God's creation. But there are always things that you can do. You know, you can volunteer, as I said in my last video. You can volunteer at soup kitchens. You can help out at church. You can, you know, go to senior citizens and help them out. Whatever, there's a lot of things out there that we can do. And it's the beauty about it is that those are things that honor God, okay? Things that, you know, selfless things, which many people don't want to do. You know, most people don't tend to do something that they have if they have nothing to gain from it. But that's what you should do. And there's always, like I said, there's things that you can find. But just to sit around the house, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, it's the worst thing that you can do. It's the worst thing that you can do because it breeds in laziness and, you know, just not wanting to do anything. And, you know, that's not good for your health. Right now I'm at the park and I see some people walking around. And I go to my other park that I go to, and I see a lot of people on that park. And it's not just elderly people. I see younger people. So to me, I'm thinking those are people who either have work schedule, which they're off during the day, or those are people who lost their job, because we know a lot of people are losing their jobs lately. But I give them credit because they're out there doing something. They're taking care of themselves, keeping themselves healthy and fit. Because by just sitting around the house and doing nothing, and you know when you're bored most times and you have nothing to do, what do? You eat. You don't eat because you're hungry, you eat because you're bored. And what happens when you eat, and you eat too much, and especially if you eat junk food, which thank God I don't. When you eat junk food, what happens? You start gaining weight. You start gaining weight, what happens then? You start having health issues, health problems. So it's just a snowball effect. So, you know, get out of the house and stay away from all the junk and just go find things to do. Take a drive somewhere. As I said in my last video, sometimes I like to just drive to parks that are further away. Maybe go to the mountains when the weather's still nice and do a little bit of hiking. And that's what I plan on doing, just doing things like that. And I've always been the kind of person in my life that I was always burning the candle at both ends, nonstop. Between work, you know, personal things that I did, I was always going nonstop. And I never felt like I rested. And now I feel like I am resting. But one thing that I was thinking about, and my wife actually said to me, maybe you should do that, is maybe I'll go get a part-time job. You know, not mostly, I mean, of course the money will help a little bit, but it's not mostly for the money. It's mostly just to keep somebody like myself, who was always used to being busy, you know, a little bit more active. Like I said, I still have a lot of things I want to do for the Lord first. And, you know, so I'm thinking about doing that, but I'm going to do it probably after the Christmas holiday, after the Christmas break. If I do that, if I even do that, I don't know yet. That's something I'm praying on. And the beauty about it is that I don't have to do it. It's if I want to. Then there's a big difference in there. And so, again, I repeat to you guys, whenever you can retire, if you can retire and just leave your job, or even just get a part-time job, I recommend it, because I've seen people that have lost their jobs in the last couple of months. And I'm not including myself. I'm talking about people who I knew who worked for companies for years. I'm talking about 20, 30 years, some close to 40 years. And they just let them go without even thinking about it. So if your company, if you're just a number to them, they don't care about you. And I'm not saying don't care about your job and don't care about your company. But whenever you have the opportunity to get out, just get out. Get out and enjoy life. You know, you don't have to have $1 million. You know, if you have a car, if you have a vehicle, you can take local trips. You can go somewhere for weekends, go camping, do whatever. But don't give your life to the man. Don't give your life to the system. So anyway, I hope this video helps you. And I'm planning on doing another video or two today. They're going to be more faith-oriented. And I pray that you look for them. And I'll give you a couple of messages on that. God bless you.